welcome back to Sky Girl Reporter, and today I am here with CBS 8's news anchor Eric Kahnert, so I'm really excited, so let's say hi.
Hello, that was a lovely introduction. You've done this before. You're like a veteran journalist now. You've interviewed a lot of people, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, asking a lot of good, tough questions. I know you interviewed the mayor, you interviewed Jeff Zevely, a lot of big people around town you've been interviewing, so I'm excited to be here with you, Sky.
Thank you. So let's get started. My first question is, what does an anchor person do?
Anchor person, well, what we do is we deliver information to everybody who is at home. Like today, it is raining, for example, one of the rare times it rains in San Diego, right? So we're telling people where it's gonna rain, how long it's gonna rain, and what to expect out on the roads. And if there's any crashes, what to avoid. We get into other news topics. There's other news developments that are happening during the day that we have to gather as journalists and as news anchors. We have to put it all together, right, and make sure that we make a really good balanced report to deliver to the viewers so that they leave each morning, they step out of the house and they feel well informed. They have an idea of what's happening in their community and they have a better idea of what's happening in the world so they can be informed when they go to work.
What is the difference between a news reporter and an anchor person?
A news reporter is, and I've done both jobs, and I love both jobs. News reporters go out in the field, is what we call it. So they'll go to the scene of a crash, or they'll go to a news conference where the mayor is going to speak. So they'll go out in the community and be our eyes and ears out there and gather the information for their report. And the anchors and reporters will talk a lot of time about what kind of elements they got, and we'll gather it all up and we'll tell everyone, hey, there's this really cool thing that's happening downtown, and let's go out to our reporter and he's got details on X, Y, and Z. The reporter gives us their information. Sometimes the anchor has more questions to ask the reporter since they're the expert that day on whatever they're covering. We get to have that conversation go back and forth and make sure that the viewers have all of their questions answered, and so it's complete coverage of the day's event that the reporter's covering. So it's a lot of fun to be in the news as a news anchor. You get to be kind of quarterbacking all the different reporters and helping control the message that's going to be sent out in the news that we cover. But it's also fun to be a reporter out in the field where you're gathering that one story for the day and you get to be kind of an expert on that one story that day.
How did you become an anchor person?
Lots of years of reporting actually helped prepare me as an anchor. Going out into the community and gathering different elements and knowing what it takes to balance a story, knowing how to tell different stories, whether it's feature story, which is lighter stories, hard news reporting, investigative reporting, sports reporting I've done, crime reporting, court reporting. There's a lot of different types of reporting I've done that helped me become a better anchor. There was a professor I had once that said the best news anchors were even better reporters. So it's really important you understand what you're doing in the field, you know how to report, you know how to gather news, and you know how to cover a variety of topics that helps you become a better news anchor. Because when that news reporter's live shot, something should happen, or their mic cuts out, or the camera goes down, it comes back to you, and you've got to know that story. And you've got to have been in that situation before to explain to the viewers what's going to happen. We have breaking news that happens sometimes where they just put up a piece of video or the chopper shot and it just shows a car that's pulled over to the side of the road and there's a little tiny fire that might be happening. And that's all the information I have as an anchor. But I've got to explain and walk the viewer through what's happening and what's about to happen and start to develop the story and explain how the different crews show up there, what can happen next. I use my experience as an anchor to explain how they're going to attack the fire to make sure that it doesn't grow out of control.
Why did you want to be an anchor person?
Yeah, I never necessarily wanted to be just an anchor. I just enjoyed telling stories. And that's what we do. We tell good stories, bad stories, sad stories, positive stories. We tell all sorts of stories. But I knew when at a young age, when I was about your age, I enjoyed just telling stories. I enjoyed asking questions too. But something about telling a good story, a good beginning, middle, and end, as a reporter, as an anchor, that's just a lot of fun for me. But I mostly like to help our community. I like to tell stories that help our community, inform our community, educate our community, but also entertain our community, right? To start off your day on a fun, positive note, to start off your day smiling, to be excited about the day. I have a tremendous responsibility. Each morning I wake up thousands of people in San Diego, and they turn me on because they know that I'm a credible journalist. They're going to get their information. They're going to learn something about what's happening today, but they're also going to feel good about getting out in San Diego and having the best day they can possibly have. And I get to help them on that journey, so that's exciting for me.
Yeah. Do you write your own copy?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah, today there was a lot of stories that I went in and I added different things. Sometimes stories are missing certain elements that I'm aware of because I have to be up on current events. Even when my shift is done, I've got to watch other news shows, follow social media channels, and other different forms of media and news reporting so that I know what a comprehensive story is. And sometimes when we cut down stories too short for time, we're missing really important elements, and I have to know what those are, so I have to add different things. And sometimes in order for me to be comfortable delivering the news, I have to change the way that a producer or a writer may have put the story together originally. Not that it's necessarily wrong, but it just helps me with my delivery best communicate that to moms and dads and kids at home so they can understand what I'm saying and I can feel the most comfortable saying it that way. Sometimes I'll add a little humor in to some stories, especially if they're about dogs or kids or something like that. You like the funny stories too, right?
Yeah. What is your favorite part about being an anchor person?
I think my favorite part about being an anchor person is knowing that I helped people that day. Helping people navigate the roads today on a rainy day, helping people know what the forecast is going to be, helping them know what the election is about in their certain community. If someone's got a loved one overseas, what's happening overseas, informing them, educating them, and entertaining them. I get to do a little bit of that every day, and knowing that people get a good start on the day for me is very rewarding.
What is the hardest part about being an anchor person?
The hardest part about being an anchor person was probably that there's so much to know and to be on top of, and that's why our shift doesn't just stop when the show is over. We're constantly learning. We don't know it all. We're learning about things. We are exploring. We're educating ourselves. We're being experts on so many different topics that you have to constantly be up on it. And with social media channels now, there's a lot of different places news anchors have to pay attention to different things on TV, on the websites, on different social media channels. So we have to kind of be everywhere and be watching everything so that we feel that we're the most prepared for our job. So that's a challenge, but it's also a lot of fun because you're learning a lot of different things along the way.
What are the qualities of a good anchor person?
Good journalists. Well, they really need to be inquisitive like you are, right? They have a lot of questions and they want to get answers, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get those answers. Wanting to have a genuine connection with people, get to meet new people out in the community, and also, just being the voice of the people. Not everyone can ask the mayor questions, right? Besides you. Not everyone can. So we have that responsibility to take the community's concerns, questions, some of the things that they want answers to, and being the direct communicator to them and demanding answers. And also making sure that our communities are hearing about things that aren't just happening in their neighborhood, but maybe happening overseas or happening in other parts of the country, because we have family and relatives and people that live in the United States, across the world. And so giving, that entire viewpoint, leaving people with what's happening locally in the state, in the country, and abroad too, is really important for us to try to leave people with here each day.
That's important. I want to ask a question about another famous anchor person. How would you compare yourself to Ron Burgundy?
Ron Burgundy, wow. Well, we do have some things in common. We both anchor the news in San Diego. We both like a good suit. We both love dogs, and we both love going to the zoo. And I would say that that's some of the things we have in common. There's some other things too, but to keep this G-rated, I won't get into those things. But no, it is kind of fun to be anchoring the news in San Diego, and that was kind of a fun film to poke fun at ourselves a little bit. And you know what? As an anchor, that's okay. I know that a lot's changed in the anchorman's role over 30, 40 years and what they used to do as just teleprompter readers. And as I was explaining to you during our interviews, there's so much more that anchormen and anchorwomen today do, right? We really have to dig for answers. We really have to know our stuff. We really can't rely on a teleprompter or our reporters or producers or reporters. We have to rely on ourselves, right? So we have changed a lot since the anchorman days, but I do have an Anchorman shirt at home with Ron's face on it, and I also have Anchorman socks that I'll wear. So it's fun to poke fun of ourselves, keeps things light, and it helps us understand that we can have fun at work too.
Is there anything else people should know about being an anchor person?
Yeah, just so that they know, despite what they've heard out there about the media not caring or fake news, there are thousands of local news journalists every single day that are working tirelessly to promote and advocate for our local communities. We are trying to deliver the best information, the most balanced coverage, and local news and cable news are two different things. And we're proud of the work that we do every morning and the evening crews, what they do each night to try to bring you the most balanced coverage, to get you informed, to get you educated, to keep you a citizen that really knows what's happening in your community. That's our goal each day. I think we do a great job of it here at CBS 8. I'm proud of the work we do, and I hope you'll tune in. Obviously, you appreciate good storytellers and good interviewers, and so it's a pleasure to meet with Sky, and it's also great to be featured on your channel here, because this is obviously a place where people go for good quality news content. And I'm just glad Sky and I finally had the chance to meet here. So thanks for meeting with me, Sky, and some great questions.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sky. This was a pleasure. Great interviewing skills, and boy, you have got a great future, maybe someday here at CBS 8.
Thank you. So I hope to see you next time on Sky Go Pod with a new person telling us what their job is and you're learning. Bye.
Bye.